Hey Soul Family, welcome to Eringy. I'm Erin. This is your full moon energy forecast for September 2023. So, being that this is a sacred time, why not treat it like that? Okay, so maybe just grab pen and paper, jot down your insights, maybe grab even like your own oracle card deck as well and just draw a few more cards to kind of, because this is a collective reading, maybe even get even more specific on what comes through. And yeah, let's just sort of get comfortable. Okay, I'll meet you back here when you're ready. Alrighty, gorgeous. So if you haven't done a full moon reading with me before, just know that this is a collective reading, but it's basically connecting with the energies that we are all experiencing. So it's sort of a little like, you know, we're either going to feel it whether we like it or not. And sometimes that's a good thing or not. But having a bit of a heads up is really helpful. And it helps us define what we're willing to surrender, what we're willing to embrace, because the full moon is about celebrating our journey, celebrating who we are, and it's also about releasing and letting go of the things that we just know we just don't want anymore. Okay, so that's the purpose of doing these readings. But I encourage you to really use your own intuition and sort of narrow down these messages so that they really do they're more personal to you. Yeah. Okay, so let's just talk about the new moon for a moment. So the new moon that's just been was very, very much focused on relationships. So not just romantic relationships as a whole. So friendships, work colleagues, family, any kind of relationship you can think of would fit into that energy that I was talking about for the new moon. So the new moon was that chance, that period of time where you could define what you wanted in a relationship and start working on that from that to now, okay? Obviously that's going to keep going until the next new moon, but this is sort of the peak of the energy at the moment with the full moon. So where you are currently since the beginning of the new moon is that you are experiencing some deeper relationships. So I can sort of see that here in this card with the hope card. Literally, it can mean that you are more hopeful in a relationship. I'm just going to tune in a little bit more for this one. It can also mean that you are more open to creating new relationships. So perhaps you've got more space in your life to have more people come into your life and be a part of your life now. Maybe things are feeling a little less hectic, or it feels like you've got a greater capacity to be around people more these days than perhaps what you had, not that long ago. Okay, so I can feel that there's a little bit of a shift here, and it feels like you are starting to believe in humanity a bit more as well. So I know I know that's been a bit tricky, just watching the way things are going in our outward worldwide. We do tend to sort of only hear about the worst in people, and it does really sort of kind of inhibit our trust, our faith in humanity. And so, it feels as though there have been moments recently where that's kind of helping you to see better, the better versions in people as opposed to their flaws. Okay, so that's really, really nice. So that's kind of like the energy of the full moon in general as well. I sort of liken the first one always to the theme as well. But remember too that the entire theme of this entire month that this full moon is sitting into of September is about finding harmony and finding balance. Okay, so it's still quite a relationship sort of thing. So the harmony wasn't just relationships, but certainly kind of showing up here for you at the moment. Okay, So let me tune in for where you are right now. I'm sort of feeling a little, so you've got your hope, you're hoping that things will sort of turn out, you're hoping for the best. There's still an aspect of you that will have like barriers up. Okay. I feel like there's still some shedding that needs to be done before really long-lasting relationships can be created. Okay, so this is really perfect time again, as we are sort of around this beautiful feminine energy of security, safety, nourishment, which is what the full moon is all about. So is there an aspect in you that, just want to ask this question, do you believe you are deserving to be in a really good relationship? Do you feel like you are, do you feel as though there's any part of you that might be getting in the way of that relationship blossoming? Do you feel it challenging to get along with people? Is there a sense within you that you feel like a little awkward being around people? These are obviously like separate questions. But I'm just sort of trying to, I guess, get your thinking, so get you to start to think about, I wonder where am I kind of getting in my own way? Because it's easy to sort of project what's not going well in a relationship by saying, well, this person doesn't do this and they don't do this and they're not doing this. And, you know, we can have a big list of the things that these certain relationships aren't doing for you. But is there, what's your part in this as well? We all play a role. And really the only thing that can change in anything is ourselves. We can't change how they act. We can't change their values, their belief system or anything unless they decide they want to change, okay? So really at the moment, it's about you accepting that maybe there's a part within you that could kind of be tweaked a little bit to sort of assist you in experiencing deeper, long-lasting relationships as well, okay? So if you identify that there is, one, don't get too hard up on, you know, like too judgmental or, you know, just don't beat yourself up over it. Please don't do that. That's not the point of the exercise. The point is to bring awareness to it, just to give it gratitude for being there and then send it on its way. If you just identify that it's really not serving you any purpose other than holding you back, then really you don't need it, okay? So you can sort of ask the full moon, okay, I'm ready to release this part of self. Please bring illumination to that part of me. Let it dissolve. Let it go to the light so that I can fill it up with things that are much more in alignment with my highest good and the highest good of all. Okay, awesome. That's very, very nice. Okay, so what's coming into your awareness? So the full moon is about, you know, energy that comes in, energy that comes out. Okay, so energy, it's funny, this one came up not that long ago. Material and spiritual prosperity. So hang on, I'll show you the second card. This is the emotional loss card, was for where you are now. So, you know, sometimes we've got unfinished business. Sometimes we've just got unresolved emotions that we're just still holding on to that can get in the way of creating trusting relationships as well, because we might have been hurt in the past. And, you know, that's just an example, but certainly can definitely impact having those really close bonds. So, yeah, so that's that. So as far as what's coming into your awareness during the full moon is material and spiritual prosperity. I feel it's funny. How am I going to say that? Because we've been talking about relationships a fair bit, right? what they're sort of saying is be clear on why you want the relationship in the first place. We have different reasons why we seek company. You know, primitively speaking, we do it because it makes us feel safe. Okay, that's like the primitive version. And then there are other things. We want to feel love. We want to feel wanted. We want to feel needed. We want to feel like we can share experiences with someone else. And we just don't want to feel alone. There's many, many reasons why we're in relationships. What they're saying is that the relationship cannot be solely built upon the need to be with someone purely because there's some kind of material gain, and that's it. Okay. Because you already have the resources, the tools, the know-how to manifest those sorts of things without that particular person being involved in it. Okay. Maybe there's an aspect of you that feels as though it's not spiritual to want material things. But really, in reality, it is, because we are here on this planet. It could get excessive, I get it. Like, you know, we could be searching for material things that are way beyond what we really need. And, you know, it just gets kind of, it gets excessive. But I don't feel like you are that type of person. I feel like you are probably more along the lines of someone who would be very content with more of the minimal sort of things, but there's still an aspect of you that still likes the material stuff as well. I am like that also. So, you know, I feel as though if we're going to relate it to relationships, Spirit's just sort of suggesting that, you know, there is maybe a disbelief within you that you mightn't feel like you can get ahead without this particular person funding your life. Okay, so you can do this on your own. There isn't a need to be with this particular person solely for that reason alone. There's got to be other reasons why you need this person in your life. And it really has to be more of a balance that you are also receiving from this person the same thing that you are giving them as well. Okay, so they're basically saying what's coming in for the full moon is this knowledge, this power, this truth, this belief that you are being supported materially and spiritually. You can do both, okay? And those things are possible with or without this relationship occurring, okay? Cool. Sometimes when I start talking, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm really hoping this makes sense because it makes sense in my mind. But then when I'm saying, I'm like, I don't know. Okay, so that's what's coming in. Material things are coming into your life that are still aligned with the spiritual stuff. And it's okay to shift your perspective a little bit. It's okay to want material things. It's still spiritual. It's just, if it's excessive, then it's not, because it's coming from this place of ego. It's not coming from this place of just truly wanting to experience what it's like to be here without sacrificing earth resources. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty, I'm just going to stop there because I just don't want to overcomplicate everything. Okay, so what are you ready to release? What's no longer serving you? It's actually quite funny because the card that's come up for that is rest and rejuvenate. Now, I would never say to you that that's not serving you, ever. Rest and rejuvenate. It's like I would never say to you, you know what? Stop resting. No, don't do that anymore. Stop practicing self-care, self-love. Don't do that. No. But there comes a time when action needs to be put into place. Okay, so we can meditate the crap out of anything, but really, is that going to move us forward in a physical sense? Probably not. Okay, so all we're trying to do is to find the balance. So Try to find harmony in your life. Sometimes that harmony will show up through you just kind of taking a step back, finding your zen, okay? Recalibrating your energy. But then after you've done that, then you can go, okay? Then you can get up and start all over again, alrighty? That's possible. So what they're basically saying is that just try and find that sweet spot. The resting, rejuvenate is important for sure, absolutely. But it's also important to take action as well. Okay, so use the full moon as a way of you defining what that is. Where is that sweet spot for you? How do you know when you are being, I don't want to call it lazy, maybe, yeah. How do you know when you're probably sitting there going, maybe I should be doing something right now? But how do you know when you've overdone it? How do you know when you're like, oh crap, I really should be resting right now? So for me personally, when I know I've overdone it, because my body has this beautiful tendency of telling me, and it's generally through some kind of, virus or some kind of sickness where it's like, okay, that's going to force me to slow down because I haven't been doing it myself. Okay. So yes, if you're starting to pick up the signs from your body, listen up. It's telling you something really important. Okay. Alrighty. So find that sweet spot, find the balance. Okay. How you can release and let that go, finding the balance. Well, I think you really got to listen to yourself. I really, really do. I feel as though you've got to really try to instill a greater sense of trust within yourself. How many times, right, have you given exceptional advice to someone and you've heard yourself say it and you're like, wow, that was actually really good advice. But when the pages have turned, how often do you take your own advice? Yes, that's what I thought. So, could you not, just for this full moon, and not just for this full moon, but let's just chunk it down. Could you, just for a moment, actually appreciate the inner wisdom that you hold and actually believe in it? Maybe somewhere along the way, maybe sometime when you were a kid, you were told that that you shouldn't listen to yourself. Maybe someone told you that what you thought was incorrect. Maybe they said, well, what would you know? Other people can be super, super nasty when they have their own insecurities, right? Okay, but when you're a kid, you don't have the ability to to tell them, hey, I'm not going to listen to you. Okay, so maybe along the way something's happened where you feel like your own advice isn't really worthy, even though you're happy to give it to other people, and even though other people will say to you, wow, that's really good advice, thank you. And it's legit, like it's good advice. It's not like you're just talking for the sake of talking. You are actually, connecting with your own inner wisdom and sharing something really powerful for this person. But can you now start to hear yourself and take on board what you are actually saying to yourself? Your higher self is really, really trying to get through to you. It really is. All right, you have these, I feel like we have been taught to dumb ourselves down because it means that if we were really, really aware of our abilities, we would be insanely powerful. I feel like we don't give ourselves enough credit where credit's due. So, let me prove to you why I'm saying this. It's crown chakra time. Crown chakra. That is your complete connection to all the other 6 main chakra centers of the body. Your full existence is here. It's the connection to your higher self. It's that portal. It's connection to not only your higher self, it's connection to your spiritual support team. It's connection to something that is far bigger than you and I. That can be anything. But whatever that is, That's where that information, that the truth, right? The not the ego crap, the real truth comes from. Okay, so if you are struggling to know when do I rest, when do I take action, what do I do, like, you know, listen up, connect with this part, your crown chakra. Just take a second. Take a second and rest. But no, as you are doing that, use your time wisely. Connect with your higher wisdom. Alrighty? And you'll receive answers that way. Alright, so sometimes it's just not enough to ask someone out there, hey, what do you reckon I should do? Sometimes it is much more potent, much more powerful to connect with your own inner wisdom and then just be guided by that. That's your intuition. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Okay. So what is the overall message that Beautiful Spirit has for you for the full moon of September? They are telling you, my friend, stay grounded, create stability. The fact that this month as a whole is about finding harmony, which is essentially about finding balance, means that part of that is grounding down, rooting down into your very existence and really creating that strong foundation. That means that when other crap comes your way, you're not going to be kind of pushed off course too much. You can kind of bounce back. So it's a little like, you know, when you're looking at trees, you know when it's super, super windy and you look at a tree and you're like, how is it that something so massive and so tall can stay grounded? Like, how is it that it just doesn't fall over? Like, I mean, it's still bending with the wind, but yet it's still there, it's still stable. So how is that? And it's because it's got this amazing root system, and the earth is really kind of holding it down, and that is you as well. So you are the tree, you are the roots, and the earth is your spiritual support team. The earth is the earth as well. That nourishing, beautiful energy. It's also the full moon. Okay, so firm foundation is the resource that's available to you. So for you to create these amazing relationships, right? For you to bring in material prosperity, to experience spiritual prosperity, for you to know when to take a break, when to take action, for you to connect to your crown chakra, connect to your higher self, right? It comes down to you rooting down into your existence, being firm in that foundation, being stable enough, able enough to roll with it, to go with the flow when things kind of go a little topsy-turvy. You know within yourself that you've got the power to overcome it, to kind of withstand those things that come your way. So you've got this powerhouse of confidence in you as well. I'm going to just sit with this just for a little while longer. I feel also too that sometimes when we're seeking something, so you know you've got this specific goal in mind, being that the new moon was about creating relationships, so say that's your goal. Sometimes we have this really big goal within that we're like, that seems like an insurmountable task. It's like, that would be really nice to achieve, but I can't really imagine achieving it because it's so big. So it's like, you know, when you're at the bottom of a mountain, you're looking up and you're like, well, I've got to climb that. How the heck am I going to do that? But if you just take it step by step, eventually you will get to the top. Might not be easy, and you might be a bit breathless here and there, and you might need to rest every so often, but you'll get there eventually. Okay, so, you know, you got to prepare yourself for it though. So if you're climbing the mountain, you know, some people do, but you might not want to just kind of start. You might want to prepare yourself. You might want to make sure you've got all the right equipment and food and all the other necessary things to help you on your journey. And it's a lot like life, really. It's really, firm foundation isn't always just about, you know, being grounded within yourself, as in you just sort of like you feel present. It's not just that. Sometimes creating a firm foundation is about establishing safety, security, all that sort of thing within your life so that you can track certain mountains and know that you're going to get to the top with ease. Okay, so I feel like that's going to make sense to you. I don't feel like I've been very specific about that, and I'm a little like bummed out that I can't be. I feel like that's... yeah, I feel like it's going to come to you. There'll be something that you'll be like, okay, yep, I get it. Now I know what Erin's talking about when she said firm foundation. Yeah, okay. So I apologize if that makes absolutely no sense to you, because for me, I'm sort of like, how can I relate that to my own life? But do you know, I actually, doing these readings, once I finish them, I actually forget what's being said, because that's generally what happens when I do readings. I just sort of, it comes out and then I forget. So I revisit them later on, which is a little weird because it's like watching myself, but at the same time, the messages are still important. So I'm hopeful that that will make sense for you and for me. Alrighty. Oh dear. Okay, so I'm sending you so much love for this full moon. Blessed full moon, beautiful. And I will catch you very, very soon. Namaste.